From the darkest corners of our forests comes one of the most terrifying legends ever recorded. This is Lost in the Shadows, true tales of terror from the forest depths. This video is scary, but it gets scarier when you realize that everything shown here are true stories based on real events. So let's begin. YouTuber Red Letter Media once said, "Don't go into the woods. There's nothing out there but trees and the things that hunt them." It's scary just how accurate this statement is. Just ask Jill Wilbright from Colorado. She was hiking with her 2 dogs in the woods when she heard some gunshots. At first, she thought they were fireworks, but then she realized that something was terribly wrong. Someone or something was stalking her. She could hear its footsteps near her, but when she turned around, she saw nothing but trees. The stalker got closer and closer until she felt something brush against her leg. But when she turned around again, still nothing. Then she found some 300-year-old bear scat right by the trail. And that's when she realized what had happened. She was being stalked by a mountain lion, one of the most dangerous predators that prowl the forests of America. It carefully stalked her for hours, perhaps wanting to ambush her and her dogs. Jill managed to escape, but not without feeling the heavy paws of fear on her heart. In another case, a man named Justin Gelling was hiking with his girlfriend when he suddenly found himself face to face with an enormous bear. He tried to scare it away by making tons of noise, but the bear only got closer and closer. Finally, it attacked him, nearly biting his head off. Justin fought back and managed to kill the bear, but not before it inflicted serious injuries. Justin survived, but this story goes to show that even the largest animals can be killers. But sometimes the most dangerous predator you can find in the forest isn't a bear or a mountain lion, it's humans. Take the case of Meredith Emerson. She went missing while on a hike in Georgia. A massive search was launched, but after 18 days, all they found of her was a bloody shoe. 2 weeks later, a man named Gary was hiking in the same area. He saw a pair of footprints in the mud, he followed them, and made a gruesome discovery. He found Meredith's battered body lying in a shallow grave. Police soon arrested a man named Daniel. He confessed to luring Meredith into the woods and then beating her to death with a rock. As you can imagine, people were pretty angry about this. Daniel was charged with murder and is serving life in prison. But if you think that's the end of the story, you'd be wrong. Daniel actually gave the police a map, leading them to Meredith's belongings, which included her cell phone, laptop, and some jewelry. But the most shocking thing was the video footage he had taken of Meredith while she was still alive. Daniel actually intended to sell the footage online. What an absolute psychopath. If you think this is crazy, check out what happened to a woman named Colleen Ryland. She disappeared without a trace while walking her horse along a forest trail. Her horse was later found wandering along a road, but there was no sign of Colleen anywhere. A few days later, a man named Matthew was hiking in the woods. When he came across a horrifying sight, he found Colleen's naked body lying in a clearing and quickly ran to call the police. The forest had become a crime scene once more. Matthew had stumbled upon yet another victim of Daniel's depravity. He was arrested soon after and is now serving life in prison without parole. But if you think that's the end of the story, you'd be wrong again, because there's a lot more to the story. After Daniel's arrest, the police found out that he was part of a creepy group called the Family. They were a cult of sorts who lived in the woods and committed all kinds of evil acts. Some of the members were arrested, but others are still out there. Who knows what other horrors they have planned? All these stories happened in the United States, but the woods can be dangerous wherever you are. In Australia, YouTuber Harry Street was hiking in a national park when he came across something terrifying. At first it looked like a log, but then he realized it was a dead animal. And not just any animal, a kangaroo. But the way it died was horrible. It had been skinned alive and its eyes gouged out. Harry was shocked and saddened by the senseless violence. Whoever did this was clearly a monster. Makes you wonder what other horrors are hiding in the woods. If you want to know more, stay tuned for more content. But for now, it's time to close with one last story. In Canada, YouTuber Kyle was hiking in the woods when he heard a strange noise. At first he thought it was a bird, but then he realized it was something much more sinister. It was a human scream, a scream of terror. Kyle quickly ran to find the source of the noise, but he never should have gone. There in the middle of the forest floor was a grizzly bear. Next to it, Kyle found a man's backpack. The man had been hiking when the bear attacked and tore him to shreds. Kyle managed to escape, but not before seeing the man's lifeless body. The forest had claimed another victim. These stories are terrifying, but they also teach us an important lesson. The woods are beautiful, but they're also dangerous. We need to be aware of the risks and take precautions when we go in. And maybe, just maybe, we should leave some things better left undisturbed.